Welcome back to this homeschooling naturopath. My name is Hannah and I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 little girls who are 9, 7, and 5. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys what is in our morning basket for the upcoming 2023 school year. Let's go. Alright, so for term 1 of this 2023 school year, we are studying Gather Round Oceans. And for that reason, I have added a beautiful little read aloud here. This is Geronimo Stilton, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, obviously inspired by the Jules Verne classic novel. This will be the first read aloud for our Oceans unit that we'll be doing this term, so I've put this guy in our morning basket. We'll read this probably every day, maybe twice a day. Let's see how we go. Next up, in our morning basket, as usual, I have musical multiplications. This is from The Good and the Beautiful, and it's basically little book sets that have these cute little pictures in them. 3 times 3 is 9, and all of these go along with songs. So when you purchase this from thegoodandthebeautiful.com, you also get the downloadable songs that come with it. So every day during our morning basket time, I will put these on. This is for all of my kids, even though my 7-year-old and my 5-year-old aren't doing multiplication just yet. They're learning it from memorizing these songs. And to be honest, for myself as well, I've never been very good with multiplication, so this has been very helpful. Alright, next up is another read aloud for history. This term we're doing Story of the World Volume 1, and we're focusing mainly on the last 10 chapters, which are focused on ancient Rome. So that's our focus of term 1 is ancient Rome, and I've got this beautiful read aloud. A gladiator stole my lunchbox. This looks really funny and interesting, and I think it'll be a great little introduction to Roman-inspired funny novels for kids. There's that one in there. Next up, sticking up the top here, I do teach my children French. If you don't know me personally, I'm fluent in French. I grew up in Tahiti, so I do try to talk to my kids in French a lot, and that's kind of how I'm teaching them at the moment. We don't have like a specific curriculum. But we do use these little French beginner word cards. There's a little example there. Just common French words. I'll just show them the pictures, say it in French, they repeat it to me. Takes about 5 minutes, easy peasy. Next up, this is a book that I got secondhand, maybe from Facebook Marketplace. It's called Sticky Situations, 365 Devotions for Kids and Families. Basically how this works is it gives you a situation, I mean they're not very big. You read this aloud to your kids, and the person in the story is faced with a dilemma. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, my mom wants me to do my homework, but I want to do something else. What should I do? And then there's multi-choice answers here. So you'll read this to your children and say, what's the best choice here? Out of these, should he just not do his homework? Should he go play with his friends instead? Or should he do his homework? And your children have to decide what's the most morally sound answer. Next up, for anyone who again doesn't know, I'm American, so teaching American history and American patriotism is very important to me. So I just put in our morning basket little tidbits of American history that my children can start to get familiar with now. First of all, I have from Professor Noggin, History of the United States, and the American Patriots Almanac. How this almanac works is you pick the date that you're on, and then it will share with you what happened in the United States throughout history on that particular day, which is super interesting. Like, these are things that I would not have known. Alright, next up we have our composer study. I've chosen Mozart for this school year. This is from Simply Charlotte Mason. It comes with the little discs in order to listen to Mozart's music. And basically what this is a story of the composer's life from the time he's a child to the time he was making this music, what the music is about for him. This is the first time we'll be doing a composer study, so I'm excited to see how this goes and the interest level of my children. Next up, we are learning some Shakespeare this year, and I got, you would have seen in our group subjects video, if you watched that, I'll link it here. I got a set, actually from Briscoe's, of 20 Shakespeare stories for children. So this is literally their readers. Like my 9-year-old would 100% be able to read this in a few minutes. It has beautiful little pictures, and they've been rewritten, I suppose, to suit a younger audience. You know, some of these Shakespeare stories have a lot of awful stuff that happens in them, so they've been rewritten to suit this younger audience. So we're going to be reading through the whole 20 of these, and I'm so excited to introduce Shakespeare to my kids. Again, this is the first time we'll be doing this. So I chose Antony and Cleopatra as our first reader. We talked about Cleopatra a lot last year because we did ancient Egypt for quite a lot of the time. So Cleopatra is someone that they love learning about and talking about, so this is going to be fun, and also it will go along well with our study of ancient Rome. Next up, I have this 365 animals and 365 animal stories and rhymes. This is a sort of poetry slash storybook that I picked up secondhand. So every day I'll literally just read a poem out of here. Next up, these things I have in my morning basket, and I always have them in here. At least once a week, we'll pick through these books and have a bit of a discussion about them. So first off, Only for Me, pretty self-explanatory. This is just a cute little book talking about how your body is only for you. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't keep secrets, that type of thing. My Underpants Rule. My kids get really into these. They like to memorize them and shout them really loud when we're reading them. My Tricky I Spy book. This is a stranger danger awareness type of book. Sorry, there's like cars and dogs and all sorts of things happening. My Device Rules. This is about device safety, no talking to strangers online, cyberbullying, that type of thing. How to protect yourself from that. And then lastly, this is one I've just added this year. Good Picture, Bad Picture Junior. We've not talked about this topic yet, but I am interested in introducing it to them. My oldest is 9 now, and yeah, you know, unfortunately it's something that we need to be aware of. If you don't know what this book is about, I suggest you go do a little bit of reading about it, because it might be an option for you in your homeschool. Show you a few pictures. So basically about protecting your mind, keeping yourself safe. All right, next up in our morning basket, I have Laying Down the Rails by Simply Charlotte Mason. I've got the Teacher's Guide as well as book 1 and book 2. Habit training is something that we started at the end of last year. We started with the habit of obedience. You know, often we teach our kids these things passively, saying please and thank you, table manners, saying hello in a polite way, respecting your elders, all of that type of thing. But it's often taught very passively. We don't normally sit down and have like full-on lessons with our children about why these things are important. Why do we need manners? Why do we say please and thank you? So Simply Charlotte Mason, Laying Down the Rails, really goes in depth on these particular habits. So some examples here: cleanliness, courtesy, kindness, manners, modesty, order, generosity. I'll show you guys what we did for obedience. It breaks it down into super simple, fast lessons, and that's why this is in our morning basket as opposed to like a set subject time. This literally takes about 5 to 10 minutes every day. So you have your sort of like prep page here, anything you want to talk to your children about regarding obedience. Lesson 1 down here, it wants you to talk to your children about what obedience means, and in order to do that, you go to your teacher's guide and you read basically the definition of what obedience is. Next up, lesson 2, we read through this little poem, Naughty Nellie and Her Parasol. You know, when someone's not listening, I'll be like, oh, remember Naughty Nellie and her parasol? It's basically a little poem about a girl who wanted to take her parasol outside and her mom said no, and she did it anyway, and then her parasol broke. So, it's a lesson learned. Lesson 3, appealing respectfully to your parents. Lesson 4 is about a child who learns how to make himself do what he should will accomplish much in life. For this was just a discussion. We talked about people we knew who maybe haven't made the best life choices versus people that have made better life choices and where they're at in their lives now. So anyways, yeah, it's all black and white. This is also available as a PDF from Simply Charlotte Mason website. But yeah, I highly recommend laying down the rails. It is not secular at all. It is a very Christian-based curriculum. So if that doesn't sound like you, you know, you do you. Moving on, this is a cute little book I found at Whitcoll's. It is the Book of Sisters. I've got 3 daughters, so sisterhood is a big thing in our home, and it's a big thing that I want to teach them. Your sister is your sister forever, no matter how many friends you make, no matter what happens in your life or where you go, your sister will always be your sister, whether you like it or not. And this book basically has all different sisters throughout history who have done pretty amazing things. And I really love that it kind of takes you through history in this beautiful timeline. Sometimes it's 2 sisters, sometimes it's more. And it basically just shares what was going on in that time and place where these sisters lived, the hardships that they faced, what they overcame, that type of thing. Again, this just leads to great conversation in our homeschool. And then lastly, in our morning basket, I have got this beautiful book, which again is from Whitcoll's, and it is called Goddess, 50 Goddesses, Spirit Saints, and Other Female Figures Who Have Shaped Belief. We'll read this maybe once or twice a week, and I'll ask my daughters, okay, what type of goddess do we want to talk about today? You know, a love and wisdom goddess, an animals, a new life goddess, and they'll pick one, and then we'll go through and pick what goddess we want to talk about. So here we go. For example, Nut, who was an ancient Egyptian goddess. It just gives you a little bit of information about her mythology, what people did to worship her in that day and age, that type of thing. Anyway, so yeah, this is something probably pretty unique to our homeschool, but something nonetheless that I like to read to my kids. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me today and having a look through what is in our morning basket for term 1 of this 2023 school year. Alright you guys, see you next time. Bye!